So who in here thinks reptiles are incredibly gross, weird, or disgusting? Or just weird? Like, I used to think the same thing. I used to think they were just disgusting. I, had no interest at all in them. Now, but who in here thinks that reptiles are really fascinating, or the coolest thing ever? I personally think they are now. And I want to have all different kinds of them. I want to get a ball python and a little tortoise because they're so stinking cute. But I don't have the money or the space for that, or the time to take care of all of them. And also, my mom would probably scream at me if I came home with a snake. And I'm sure the idea of having a reptile to those who are interested in them is a rather exciting thought, but it comes with a lot of responsibility, unfortunately. Some reptiles, such as chameleons, require much more care and attention than a snake or a bearded dragon. And I personally know how much work chameleons require, as I have one at home right now. And without having the proper knowledge or any prior experience with reptiles, having a chameleon can be quite stressful for both you and the chameleon. And just to set up their habitat will cost you around $200 to $300 because they need more than just a tank with some dirt and a branch in it. They need a tank that is taller rather than wide because they need lots of space to climb. And then not only do they need a large tank, it's better to put them in a glass tank to help keep the humidity in versus a screened-in tank. And then they also need moss and corkwood to help keep the humidity up in their tank, which they need, because you have to keep their humidity at a certain level. And they need a heat source and a UV light bulb to keep their bones nice and strong. And then they also need some sort of water source that flows rather than just sits in a bowl, so you more than likely will need to get them a dripper plant, which costs about $40 on Amazon or more, depending on what you get. And they also need plenty of vines and branches to climb on, along with plants to hide behind. And then that initial $200 to $300 that I just mentioned doesn't even include the price of the actual chameleon. The chameleon itself can be rather expensive depending on the type of chameleon you get. Like panther chameleons, those are the ones that change all the different colors. They cost about anywhere from $150 to $300. So you're investing about $450 into this animal, So, and then once you have the actual chameleon, you then have to worry about keeping their tank between the certain temperatures and that they have the correct amount of humidity in their tank. And then you also have to make sure that they're getting enough UVB and that they're not avoiding their basking area, because chameleons will sometimes just inadvertently go to the lower, cooler part of the tank and forget to go up towards the top of their tank where it's warm and so they can sit and bask and get the heat that they need. And you're probably wondering, well, why can't I just get a 20 or 40 gallon fish tank off of Craigslist and put them in there and they'll be fine? And the reason you can't do that, though, is because they need climbing space and they need to have something that resembles somewhat of a tropical forest type of setting that they come from. And without the proper tank and care, chameleons can become very stressed on top of already being very easily stressed out creatures. And so over time, this stress can weaken their immune system and cause them to die from the stress weakening their immune system. And so without the proper knowledge of how to care for a chameleon or any experience with reptiles at all, it's ultimately best to not get a chameleon as your first reptile. So rather than have all of the stress that comes with having a chameleon, it would be much better to get a reptile that doesn't require as much care and attention, such as a snake or a bearded dragon or a leopard gecko. And I can personally attest to how stressful it is to care for a chameleon, but I can also tell you how heartbreaking it can be to watch your chameleon die when you think you're doing everything right for them. When in reality, I should have gone a leopard gecko or a bearded dragon to start with. And I don't think any of you guys want to deal with the heartache of watching your pet die. So in reality, go with a leopard gecko or a snake, because those are considered like starter reptiles. So to save yourself the time, stress, and money, which is something all of us don't have a lot of, except stress. Pretty sure we all have plenty of stress in our lives. You should just avoid getting a chameleon and do the proper research on the needs for the kind of reptile you want. And not only do I want to save you time and stress, I also hope this helped to convince you to save your money and to save a chameleon's life. Thank you.